Yo, what's up YouTube family? It's your boy Koozie back at you with another hot TikTok reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to some strange and bizarre quantum entanglement reactions. I'm talking about the kind that's going to have you questioning everything. I'm talking about the kind that's going to have you rethinking reality. With that said, if you're new to the channel, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you be notified whenever I drop some new hot content that you definitely ain't going to want to miss. One more thing, these videos are for educational purposes only and slight entertainment purposes. Let's get right to the content.
Everything is literally connected, and here's why. A principle known as quantum entanglement. In this mysterious phenomenon, particles, no matter their distance, mimic each other's movements. It's so perplexing it even puzzled Einstein. He called it spooky action at a distance. Now rewind to before the Big Bang, when everything was a single unified point. This connection persists. We're intrinsically tied to each other and the universe. Your thoughts through this cosmic web can link with your desires, influencing reality in the vast quantum field. This isn't just theory. It's an underpinning truth of our universe. You're a vital part of this cosmic ballet.
Now look, there's quantum entanglement, which is a strange property of the quantum world in which distant objects can behave as if they are one, and in some sense respond instantaneously to an influence in one location at a distant location, no matter how far apart they are. But I'm not aware of a means of leveraging that to actually observe what's happening in some distant location, even if you do have quantum entangled particles.
Scientists now discovered that you can quantum entangle through conscious thought, and they actually entangled people's thoughts together now. They took one person and put him in front of a video game screen, put another person that was, I think, in 2 laboratories away. The guy in front of the screen was blindfolded. The guy who was 2 laboratories away was looking at the screen, but the one that was blindfolded had the remote control, So the one that was looking was controlling the hand of the one that was blindfolded to play the game. So they entangled 2 minds already. Real science.
Man, how many out there have heard of quantum entanglement before, quantum physics and all of that? Let me know in the comment section right now. You know, we're going to be hearing about too much ability in this video, but we got a few clips of him, so you know what I'm saying? Y'all take him with a grain of salt. That's all I'm going to say right now.
What they don't tell you about quantum entanglement is you can quantum entangle with people and beings in places that have dark intentions. So if your mind, we found out that the human brain is quantum entangling and phase shifting out of the 3rd dimension at different particular times. This is through many experiences that they've done in laboratories. And they're saying that the thoughts, your synapses, are entangling with other information in the universe. I believe that if you're focused on a lot of dark thoughts all the time and focus on evil or things that are low vibrational, that you can quantum entangle with information or entities or even beings who have the same synapses or thoughts in other places, and that information can be transferred to you and that will make you act out things. I think that quantum entanglement is a great thing for manifesting, but also in the wrong mind, I think it can create a paradox where someone can become even more evil.
And so all you need to do is focus.
That is a slight interesting theory there too, I ain't gonna lie. So when I say take him with a grain of salt, I mean like some topics, you know, he be like, you know, like the Anunnaki thing, he just be messing me up with them. But like he know a little bit, I ain't gonna say a little bit, he know a lot, but you know, sometimes he mix a little BS in there too if you got discernment. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's continue.
On a person long enough or an object long enough, anything that you want long enough, and you are now entangled with that thing, and information changes in that thing can be reflected in you, and your brain is literally a holographic generator that takes all that information from all that entanglement and forms its own neurological shapes and structures to match those information points. So you're literally building a holographic library of memories throughout your whole life. And
okay, look at this wild.
That is kind of interesting too, man. That's like quantum entanglement, using your thoughts, man. That's like manifestation, saying that like our thoughts manifest reality is basically what they getting at, you know. And like quantum entanglement is like saying 2 organisms is like, you know, the same but they different, you know, separate, you know, and they have the same quality, not the qualities, but like DNA makeup and stuff. This video will get real deep into it. I ain't gonna stop it, man. I'm gonna let it go, man.
New research. Brain experiment suggests that consciousness relies on quantum entanglement. And oh boy, am I gonna take the leap and explain telepathy using these principles. So how do these experiments work? Well, they actually have MRI machines that can sense quantum entanglement now. And so your heart actually does this thing called a heartbeat evoked potential. So when people were underneath the MRI, and this happened, the heartbeat potential, the researchers then saw a corresponding spike in the NMR signal, which corresponds to the interactions among proton spins. The gist is that this could be a result of entanglement. So then the point of the article was that they're talking about how the heartbeat potential then explains how consciousness might be derived because it only happens when you're awake, the heartbeat potential, or during conscious awareness. Because the entanglement is occurring during the heartbeat potential. So then the gist is that the brain runs on quantum principles, and so maybe does consciousness. Let's bring this bad boy back to telepathy though. If quantum entanglement is happening in the brain, this might actually explain the psychic and telepathic bond between mother and child. And the research on that is in the Gansfeld telepathy experiments of Broughton and Alexander in 1997. And there's also this fascinating research by Rupert Sheldrake, which is apparent telepathy between babies and nursing mothers. And I'll post this so you can read it yourself if you want. If scientists discovered children's cells living in mothers' brains, and the quantum entanglement is happening in the brain, maybe the child is becoming entangled with the mother in the womb.
Most definitely. And another way of saying that it's like twins. Like, you know how they say twins, you know, they do the same things and they might be like countries, states, miles apart, you know, type thing. And, you know, and they do the same thing, dress alike still, you know, all that type of stuff, you know, something similar, you know. Something to think about.
The world around you does not exist until you look at it. So your consciousness shapes reality itself. Quantum mechanics tells us that the world you perceive around you does not exist until it is observed by your consciousness.
Whoa.
And quantum superposition states that particles, including atoms, that make up your reality exist in multiple positions and multiple energy states at the exact same time until you look at them. This would suggest that the world around you is quite literally rendering into existence depending on whether or not you're observing it. It's sort of like the boggart from Harry Potter. Ridiculous. Your thoughts and your state of consciousness arrange the particles surrounding you to form a reality that reflects them. So you are tapping in to your current reality out of an infinite flow of potential realities that are all occurring simultaneously. If you're in control of your state of consciousness, you have the power to shift to your highest potential timeline, where you are the most abundant, powerful version of yourself. This is why I'm on a mission to help 3 busy professionals that feel held back by their negative thoughts and emotions, to raise their consciousness and shift into the most abundant version of themselves. So if that's you, DM me the word shift on Instagram.
We could be quantum entangled with our future selves. We know that quantum entanglement exists. Quantum particles are attached in a way that they can affect each other and they don't obey the laws of physics in regard to space or time at all. Consciousness is connected to this quantum field. If you put attention on one of these particles, that is how they appear in our reality. In terms of quantum physics and the law of attraction, if you are putting attention on your future self, whatever that version of that future self is, you're potentially literally creating that.
Man, basically, if y'all want to get a better understanding of this quantum field and quantum mechanics and like quantum entanglement kind of deal, like, I mean, there's other movies out there, but my references would be like Multiverse, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse, and another one would be well, not even just the Multiverse, but Doctor Strange, the Multiverse, and another one would be like, it's the Marvel movies, man. Like they tell you about, you know, a lot of about like the Ant-Man, the Quantum Tiller, I think it's called, but the last Ant-Man, that's a real good one to check out, y'all, for real.
future for at a particle level energetically to start coming into resonance with each other and become one thing and entangling. So then we start folding the time and looping that so it comes in earlier. So this is a big conversation.
So for someone that maybe isn't familiar on quantum entanglement,
Yeah.
but we know that when one particle is vibrating here, it's also being done somewhere else at the same exact time.
And it's completely irrelative to distance.
Right.
It's irrelevant to how far away it is or how long out in the future it is. It can effectively vibrate, come together and entangle and merge regardless of how far away it is, which means your particles now versus your particles with something you want to manifest that's maybe 5 years away from you. If you connect them
to it
and be that version of you that embodies it now and feel the emotional perception of it being here now, we start having quantum entanglement start happening.
So is that because we and our consciousness are particles and we're essentially connecting with that future version of us, raising our frequency through the emotion, which then becomes a vibrational match and we're pulling it to us?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Because there's no separation.
One day, Albert Einstein was teaching his class and wrote on the board, 9 times 1 equals 9, 9 times 2 equals 18, 9 times 3 equals 27, and he continued all the way up to 9 times 10 equals 91. The class broke out in laughter because Einstein made a mistake. The correct answer to 9 times 10 is obviously 90, not 91, and the students began to make fun of him. Einstein waited for everyone to be silent and said, "Despite the fact that I analyzed 9 problems correctly, no one congratulated me. But when I made one mistake, everyone started laughing. This means that even if a person is successful, society will notice even the slightest mistake." So today's reminder to you is that mistakes are a part of the process. Because as Einstein once said, the only person who never makes a mistake is someone who does nothing.
Boy, hey, he said something right there, man. Hit the nail on the head, man. Hey, man, how you gonna know how success feel? How success feel if you never failed before? You know what I'm saying? The only person that's gonna succeed is the person that kept getting up. Y'all, that's something to think about. Keep on, you know what I'm saying? Keep on keeping on. Let's get it.
The universe is made out of energy. It's not made out of matter. And then I say, well, what does the quantum physicists call this energy that the universe is made out of? I say, well, they call it the field. I say, what's the definition of the field? I love this. Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. I go, my goodness, that's the same definition as spiritual that's used for spirit. I go, yes, quantum physics emphasizing the invisible field as primary to the physical world is essentially reiterating the statement of the spiritual people who talked about the invisible forces shaping our physical existence. And so, by definition, science, the new science of quantum physics, is bringing us back into alignment with the spiritual reality.
Here's what most...
I want to tell y'all the truth that all this stuff is spiritual, man. That field is really the kingdom. You know, if you read that book that they tell you about that kingdom that's on the inside of you and on the outside of you, look at that rock right there. That's the kingdom. That's him too. If you know, you know. You know, I ain't gonna say too much.
People do not understand about the quantum field. It is not just some woo-woo field of energy that you believe in to hopefully get the things that you're trying to manifest. I see so many people on this app trying to explain this in a video, but not understanding the fundamental science. So let's break this down. This is actually what the quantum field is. Welcome to class. So in our reality, we have what's known as classical or Newtonian physics, and then quantum physics. Classical physics is what came first, which is actually why a lot of people don't believe in this quantum field or that manifestation is a scientific process, because they most likely took classical physics in high school classes, not quantum physics. Classical physics deals with the macroscopic world. So think atoms, molecules, and anything bigger than that. And like I said, classical physics is what came first because we used to think that everything in our reality was solid matter. That everything in our reality was made up of these atoms, and those were solid. And it wasn't until we developed the tools and the technology to look inside of an atom that we discovered an entire other world, the subatomic or quantum world. So in come a new avenue of physics, quantum physics, meaning anything smaller than an atom. It wasn't until we looked inside of an atom where it took everything we thought we knew about our reality and flipped it on its head. And at first, when we looked inside of the atom, we were like, whoa, why is there this tiny, tiny nucleus and just a bunch of space? Or at least that is what we initially called it. But upon further investigation, it was actually this sort of web of waves. Now, stick with me here. This web of waves is caused by the superposition of electrons. Because at the subatomic level, quantum particles behave as waves existing simultaneously in multiple states of being. This creates that infinite field of waves. The field of infinite possibilities for those quantum particles that make up the atom, which makes up the material of things and experiences in this world. And just to tie it all together, those quantum particles existing in infinite possible states of being are influenced by your measurement. So this quantum field is essentially this blanket that extends out across our entire reality that makes up everything that you see before you, but also holds all other possibilities. And it's you who interacts with this field to create your reality. And we will break down how you influence this field of energy so that you can intentionally manifest in a separate video. So like and follow for that, and let me know what questions you have in the comments.
Man, y'all like and follow her channel, man. Show her some love. She did a good breakdown. But another name for that, I would say what they call the field, I would call it the ether. I don't know if y'all have heard that or would consider it that, you know, but that's just my theory. Let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section and what y'all think about that clip.
Yes. I am ready to return to my original size. Please proceed. We used all our resources to make 4 sophons. 2 pairs of 2. Each pair is entangled, connected on the quantum level. 2 remain with us. The other 2 we've sent to you. Everything they see and hear, we see and hear at the same time, even when they are light years apart. A proton has virtually no mass. Accelerating them to nearly light speed is easy. Even you can do that. They entered your solar system months ago.
Welcome back to 5D Mysteries.
Man, hold up. We can't just skip past that like that, man. They showing us stuff like that in the movies right now. It's either on its way or it's been out. You know what I'm saying? And that type of stuff is AI. Obviously, it's AI. But then think about nanobytes, nanotechnology, man. Or even more advanced than that. You know, that we would consider, you know, extraterrestrial technology because we never seen it before. You know, we can't even fathom it.
Well, let's get into it. Okay, so hear me out on this one. What if Sense 8 was real? Okay, you're gonna have to use your imagination on this one. So what if your soul is entangled with other souls when you incarnate? And when or if you meet one of them, the connection is similar to like a twin flame connection. Because I'm starting to believe that you can have more than one twin flame. Now don't come for me, hear me out first. So in the unfathomable probabilities that exist in the multiverse, let's say that you have 7 quantum entanglements with 7 other souls. You will have a pull to these souls, but you won't know why. And you probably won't even be aware of it. But when you meet them, you will have that feeling like you have known this person for many, many lifetimes. It will be distinctly different from every other encounter that you've had previously. Unless you...
I guess another way of saying it is love at first sight. You know what I'm saying? How many out there has had that experience in their life? Love at first sight. Me personally, I never had that. You know what I mean? But hey, I know a lot of people out there say they, you know, experienced that in their lifetime.
Just happened to meet 2 of these quantum entanglements. So having 7 quantum entanglements can be likened to a mother bringing in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 souls all at the same time through and into this matrix, aka the woman's womb. So that's 8 connected souls all coming in one shot. So I believe the same can be true for quantum entanglements with other souls. And I know you may think it will be your family, but probably not. Or that may be true for you. They might appear in a dream, they might be a doppelganger, and with our timelines merging with other ones, and that can be seen through Mandela effects, you might even have more entanglements, but with the other you. But now they're here with you on this timeline, and some entanglements could have crisscrossed or merged together. Not like people, but the timelines. Okay, so let's just say that there is a parallel universe next to ours. And to give you a small example, let's say the other you has a certain romantic type of person. But let's say that their timeline is ahead of our timeline by like 14 years, right? So you would call this other you your higher self, or whatever the equivalent to years would be on the grand scale of things in the multiverse. So if your higher self has a specific type, then you might find yourself drawn to a specific romantic type and not knowing why. I mean, really, if you think about it, the other yous in the multiverse and other timelines, you have quantum entanglements with them too. And maybe that's where deja vu comes into play. Because if their timeline is ahead of our timeline, then when you have deja vu, you're connecting to them, and that's why you can see something happen before it happened, because it already happened in their timeline. And the same goes for dreams. That's why you get premonitions. Just a thought.
Hey, y'all know another good reference, man, while he talking about the parallel movie. Have y'all ever watched the movie, the one with Jet Li? I think it came out in the early 2000s, man. Go check it out, man. Talking about the multiverse type deal and stuff too. You know, Jet Li and multiple timelines, and man, it's a must watch. I'm telling you, just go check it out and then let me know what you think about that. You know, later on, come back to me with it.
5D Mystery School.
Check his channel out.
Is okay. You know what? Just watch this.
I try to stay with me. These cameras use spontaneous parametric down conversion, which is a form of quantum entanglement. That's why they can detect light at only a few photons per pixel.
What is this guy even talking about? Just listen.
Some people say that by punching into the quantum realm, these babies act as a magnet for spirits. That's right. The dead.
Physicists have discovered a new type of quantum entanglement that enables unprecedented insights into atoms. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon where particles remain connected despite being separated by vast distances. This peculiar connection means that any change in one particle instantaneously affects its entangled counterpart. Theoretically, this entanglement could potentially allow faster-than-light communication by encoding information in binary language. Typically, entanglement is observed between identical particles such as photons or electrons, but this time researchers detected entanglement between dissimilar particles. This breakthrough allowed scientists to delve into the realm of atomic nuclei with unprecedented clarity. The discovery took place at the relativistic heavy ion collider at Brookhaven Lab, where researchers employed a sensitive detector known as a solenoidal tracker. By accelerating gold ions to near-light speeds and colliding them, the detector captured the interactions between particles. These interactions involved photons and gluons, which bind atomic nuclei together, resulting in the creation of entangled particles called pions. These findings open doors to new...
Man, where they coming up with these names at? I know I heard of photons in school, but gluons and pions, I heard of pions, but not them type of pions. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. And where all these colliders coming from, man? I'm starting to find out they got colliders everywhere, man. That's crazy. I think that's something to look into, man. Something to worry about too. Damn.
Fields, such as quantum computing and networking. The study also paves the way for further exploration into quarks and gluons, which existed in the early universe, beyond the traditional focus on protons and neutrons.
Say, man.
So MIT physicists have harnessed quantum time reversal to measure vibrating atoms. Now this might sound like, oh, this ain't nothing to get all worked up about, but check this out. You see, they were able to do this by putting the particles through two key processes, quantum entanglement and time reversal. This is not time travel, okay? So don't get it mistaken.
Don't get it mistaken.
This is the physicists manipulating the quantumly entangled atoms so that they look at as if they were like evolving backwards. So going backwards, basically. This is still a major scientific discovery, though. What do you think this is going to lead to? Let me know in the comments.
Do you ever wonder about how if
What y'all think that's gonna lead to? Let me know in the comment section, man. That is not time travel. Don't get it mistaken now.
you're thinking about somebody, it might mean they're thinking about you too? Let's talk about quantum entanglement. Now, I'm not exactly a physicist, but I can explain this in layman's terms. So basically, when we have a strong bond with somebody, i.e. entanglement, our energy is essentially intertwined, interacting and communicating despite physical distance or actual verbal communication. This is why it's so important, the vibes you are putting out. If you've ever thought of somebody and then randomly got a text message from them, it's likely you felt their energetic waves of thought before they even sent the message. This is essentially the explanation for how our pets and animals know something's going to happen before we do. This is why it is so important that you set energetic boundaries. Not only that, but realizing what energies you are outputting into the world. Knowing that your energy can become entangled or affect those around you, it's important to choose the energy of love over desperation.
These connections that have you able
over desperation. Say that again. Hey, man. Hey, y'all heard what she said. Let me know what y'all think about that. I think she, oh well, he's getting right into it. What do you know? Talk about soul ties. I ain't even gonna stop it. Let's go.
To feel a person's presence and energy are the product of you two creating a soul tie. These connections take place when you have exchanged sacred energy on a level that reaches your soul. This will leave you with an energetic imprint on your soul that allows you to be able to sense when they are thinking about you as well as their presence being around you. And this phenomenon can be found on a universal scale, with it being known as quantum entanglement. Within your soul, you hold a unique energetic signature that is known as your soul song. And we experience these soul ties when two souls are vibrating in unison, yet they separate abruptly. And this is where soul ties are created between two people. And you must begin to heal your soul in order to break these energetic connections that you have created. You need to take the time to acknowledge and reflect on this connection and how it has developed you as a person. And do the spirit and shadow work that will allow you to release this person from your soul.
Say, man, now y'all know why y'all still thinking about what's the name, you know what I'm saying, and what you call it, you know what I'm saying, and y'all ain't talking a few months or a few years. Now you get it, you know. That's them soul ties, man. That's that quantum entanglement, you know. I ain't talking about the kind of entanglement that Jada was talking about, but in the same way, I guess you could say that it's the type of entanglement, but not that type of entanglement, you know. Let's go.
It's not real, at least not in the way you think about it. Let me explain. This 3D wave can appear as a ripple or as a 2D wave depending on how we look at it. This is the nature of geometry. This obelisk has a 2D projection, but if we pull it up, we get a 3D shape. DNA is a perfect example. From the top down, it looks like a mandala, but if we pull it up, we get a double helix. DNA is a program for how energy is going to manifest in physical reality. Take cymatics. This is 528 hertz. When we look at it through water, we see the top-down projection right here. That's the shape because sound moves in 3D balls through the air. We just get a really fast cross-section. These geometries are just shadows that our brains can process in this dimension. Now these are going to start to make sense. Architecture is frozen sound. They're meant to transmit this information without words because you already speak this language. Geometry is universal. Through the frozen sound of architecture and the liquid geometry of sound, these buildings can transmit information without you even knowing it. Just by seeing them, something inside of you goes, these guys know more about a lot of stuff than I know. They're trying to wake up something divine inside of you using the language that everybody knows. It's a lost art.
Say, man, so I hope y'all paying attention, man. Let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section, man. The law of vibration, man. You say, man, good vibes, man. That really means so. I hope y'all paying attention.
Robert Bigelow said to me, "They're walking among us."
What?
I said, "What do you mean
Who?
they're walking among us?" I said, "They're walking among us.
Who?
They live right here," kind of thing. So again, I'm looking at him going,
What?
I need to see, I'd like to see some proof of that.
Right.
But then he said, "We've done studies. We've done extensive studies on the impacts of this story would have on the general population globally." And I said,
Interesting.
"Okay. Well, like what kind of studies?" He goes, "Well, you take Iran Contra and you take all these other like super big scandals, and you multiply those, every one of them that's ever happened in the history of mankind, in modern history, and then you multiply that by 1,000,000, and that's the impact, according to our studies, that this reality would have on the general public." He said the economy would collapse, organized religion would collapse.
Man, what is he getting into? What is he talking about right there, man? He know that type of information. That's deadly, man. I wouldn't want to know that though. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Sometimes there are secrets that need to be kept secret.
Exactly.
But this particular issue is so important to you as citizens of this country and as citizens of the human race, members of the human race, and citizens of this planet, that there's nothing more important than that, and I purposely and intentionally violate my oath with a good feeling, because I believe that not only do you people have a need to know, you have a right to know, because you're the ones that are paying the bills. And I'm a believer in the constitutional system. I see the constitutional system being stomped upon. I see that document, which is so precious to us, being ignored. And the time has come for we, the people of this country, to reclaim our rights, reclaim our Constitution, and damn well force the government that we are supporting and paying the bills for to own up, fess up, and finally, after over 40 years, tell us the damn truth about this issue. I think I'm preaching to the choir here, and it's a good feeling. Thank you. It's also important that you understand who I am and where I came from and how I came to be here. I spent most of my adult life as a professional soldier. I spent 27 years on active duty in the United States Army. And for most of those years, I was in the infantry. I was in special operations, special assignments. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a fact that I have been places I should not have been, and I have done things I should not have done. But I served my country loyally, and I still believe in my country, and I love my country, and I love the Constitution. And that's frankly the primary reason I'm here. When they published it in 1964, I said there was only 15 copies. Copy number one went to the Secretary General of NATO. Copy number 2 went to General Lyman Lemnitzer, who was the Supreme Allied Commander. Copy number 3 was assigned to the Shock Operations Center, and that's the one I got a chance to read over and over and over again. The other copies were distributed throughout the military headquarters to major military commanders from the various nations. There were copies in French and German and in English. But what was this document that stirred so much up there in shape in 1964? Let me tell you basically what the major conclusions were. Number 1, and this is a real grabber. The planet Earth, and apparently the entire human race, is and has been the subject of an extensive, intensive, and massive survey and examination by several, remember, several, extraterrestrial high-technology civilizations. And this survey has been extremely thorough and detailed. That almost blows you out of your chair right there. Number 2, these civilizations have demonstrated not only high intelligence, but an extremely advanced technology that may possibly be hundreds, if not thousands of years beyond our own. Evidence collected and studied by this report indicates that there is apparently some kind of a process or a plan unfolding. They, whoever they are, continually demonstrate that the development of some kind of program is underway. And over the last 40 years, you can see this developing. You can see this process taking place. It's very clear for those of us who spent most of our lives looking at it. Evidence in this report leads to the conclusion that this survey or program has been going on for a very long time, possibly several thousand years. My personal view is it's been going on a lot longer than that, and I'll explain to you why I feel that. Military intelligence analysis have concluded there did not appear to be a major military threat involved. The conclusions seem to indicate that if they were either malevolent or hostile, that there was absolutely nothing that we could do at that time. And I have to tell you very honestly, there's absolutely nothing we can do at this time. SHAPE and NATO policy dictates that an ongoing study continues by the various military committees and that as many resources as possible by the major powers be committed to this matter. The entire subject is considered to be of the highest importance and extremely sensitive, and that this committee recommends that the highest level of classification be placed upon this matter, if approved by SECURE, to be above top secret, above cosmic top secret, which is what they did.
Whoa, 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 man, that was deep, man. Get in the comment section down below, man, and let me know what y'all think about that one, man. That's something to make your mind wonder for real, for real.
This is so crazy to me. There's actually scientific proof that humans are not physical beings, and that in fact, nothing in our universe is physical or solid. This is a picture of a quark. So quantum physics tells us that everything is fundamentally made up of atoms. Everything in our universe is made up of atoms that are made up of electrons, neutrons, and protons. And protons and neutrons are made up of quarks. And electrons are made up of leptons. But what are quarks and leptons made of? They're made of nothing. Quarks and leptons are just pure energy. Quarks and leptons are fast-moving points of pure energy. They're made up of literally nothing. They are nothing. So that means that at the fundamental core of the atom, and therefore at the fundamental core of everything in our universe, there is no material there. It's just pure energy. It's energy vortices. You are just energy vortices. Energy is only transformed. It's neither created nor destroyed. So this energy that is you and that is everything persists forever. It is immortal. So this means that you're not just a temporary flesh sack that lives for 80 years, then dies forever. You are the same energy as everything in our universe. So this means that humans are purely eternal spiritual beings, and that the physicality and solidity of everything is just an illusion. You are an immortal divine being, and next time you feel alone, just know that you can't be alone because you literally are one with everything, because you are everything.
Man, I hope y'all paying attention, man. A lot of people ain't gonna miss it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ain't gonna get it. They gonna miss it. It's gonna go right over their head, you know? They gonna be thinking about like, man, what is she talking about, man? They gonna be on this type of frequency. Man, I got hit in the head with an acorn the other day. I feel physical then, you know what I'm saying? I felt that. It felt solid. Shit, it hurt my head. My head still hurt, but we ain't talking about that type, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you know, you know. The spiritualness, man, what they talk about, like they say in the Bible and other things, man. We are spiritual beings, man. You know, on a temporary path, you know what I'm saying? On a temporary physical path, that's it. You know, we're just on a small journey. That's it, man. Living a human being experience. Let's go, man. Let me know what y'all think about that down below.
I believe that we're living in a simulation. Quantum physics proves to me that someone or something created this. This isn't just pop up out of the blue and just, hey, here we are. There's a universe with people in it. If I took all 8 billion people on Earth and took away the empty space in their atoms, I can fit every human being into one sugar cube. We're not even here. It's really our higher selves. Your body doesn't create the consciousness, it downloads it. Scientists were able to do something incredible. They created an 8th dimensional quasi-crystal. It gave them a glimpse into understanding the 3rd dimension. Not only did they find the edge of our universe, but they also found a merging part or the beginning part of another universe overlapping. This is pretty interesting because now it proves like, wait a minute, there is a multiverse. What happens at the other side of a black hole? Could it be a white hole? So as energy is being sucked out of one universe, is it going in and creating another universe from scratch? Is that the Big Bang? But I do believe that we're living in a soup of universes.
Hey, when he said it, over a black hole, could it be a white hole? That sounds like so cliche, but you know, that is something. That is, you know, that is really something out there. You know, that's a fact. You know that white holes do exist. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Billy Carson, he was coming with that right there in the quasi-crystal theory, you know, topic. That's definitely something to look into because it's really interesting for y'all who might be interested in that. You know what I'm saying? Right there, just look it up. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that clip down below though.
This is the absolute basics of quantum leaping. Quantum physics is the study of the subatomic world. Quantum physics is where science and spirituality meet, so studying things like atoms. Thanks to scientists like Einstein and Heisenberg, we know that energy and matter are directly correlated. We know that atoms are 99.999 infinite 9% energy. They are also 0.000001% matter. But what's even crazier is that the electrons of an atom appear and disappear. They are not bound by space or time. In fact, they only appear when we focus on something. That's when they become physical matter. So our consciousness has the ability to manipulate atoms and electrons because our consciousness is energy too. So if these subatomic particles are not bound by space or time, that means that they can exist anywhere, anytime in the quantum field, in a field of infinite possibilities. But it is our consciousness that allows the electrons to appear and become physical matter, therefore collapsing a specific possibility into our reality, collapsing them into existence into the physical material world. So when people say quantum leap, they might not know what they're referring to is actually these electrons that are leaping from atom to atom. And it is your consciousness that is the tool that will allow these electrons to leap into a specific reality that you desire. It is your consciousness that is the most powerful tool that you hold. So are you ready to take a quantum leap?
I'm telling you, like, this is the key factors to like manifestation, you know what I'm saying? It's like another word for prayer, having faith, you know what I mean? Like, you really believe so much that you put yourself in this essence of your belief and you know, you kind of make it your reality, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pray so much, you believe, you got faith, you make it your, you know what I'm saying? You kind of turn it into your reality because you believe so much, you know? I mean, like they say, the power of the tongue, you know, is real, man. The tongue is like a sword, you know, that's what they say. I mean, y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man. Am I tripping, you know? Wait, y'all let me know. I know I ain't tripping, but, you know, let me know what y'all think.
Dr. Greer was asked, how can aliens communicate across galaxies?
Entanglement, where everything's connected. In order to understand going from a far distant star system to here, you're not going to do that in a straight line at the speed of light. You're going to do it through understanding non-locality, where nothing has to be fixed in space-time. Your conscious mind is actually connected to this field of consciousness that's everywhere, simultaneously everywhere. Where you're dealing with civilizations that are 100,000 or more years advanced than us, many of them. All their technologies, we're using electromagnetic system here at the speed of light, right? 186,000 miles per second. They're using technologies that are interfacing with quantum thought. What Elon Musk is working on with Neuralink, but not with wires and stuff, but where it's a consciousness field and thought interfacing with machine. And there's been a lot of research done by various scientists in the last few decades on this, where consciousness and thought can affect a machine. When you're dealing with extraterrestrial civilizations, they have perfected that the way we have perfected a cell phone or a video call or FaceTime.
And see, that's the type of technology that we really trying to figure out, and that if we kind of figure out, it can either boost us up and, you know, advance us in, you know, society, you know, in the future, or it could just take us down quicker, like the, you know, the invention of the atomic atom bomb or the atomic bomb or whatever you want to call it, you know, the atom bomb, you know, like that's one of those things, because it's either going to be used for all good or bad. You know, it's always going to be, you know, good and bad, you know, with anything that comes out. But I'm just saying, that's going to be one of those things, man. Like, you know, it's going to take, you know, for, it's one of them iffy things. It's scary, basically, what I'm getting at. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that clip, though, down below. And I'm pretty sure somebody out there figured it out, and they keeping it quiet, though. But if it get in the wrong hands, it's over with. For sure.
I don't even know what to say to that.
It's massive. We're a walking universal library. We are the way for the universe to figure out and explore the third dimension and understand what it's like to be and live in the third dimension as every individual living thing. And we're all connected through this quantum entanglement. Every single thing that exists is all connected, still connected. Space is an illusion, distance is an illusion, separation is all an illusion.
What do you mean it's an illusion?
We appear to be sitting in two separate chairs with a space in between us. Mm-hmm. But we're all atoms on an energetic grid that's connected and has always been connected. So the space in between us appears to be a distance, but if you go on the quantum level, you discover that we're both local. We're still in the same position, which is the original position. This entire universe is made up of a complete holography. We're living in a fractal holographic matrix, a matrix of light. And it doesn't take away from there being a creator, because what I'm telling you about is the method used of this to make this creation. The method is a fractal holographic matrix, a matrix of light. Quantum physicists will tell you that a human being exists both as a wave of light and also solid matter. And they got the first image of a wave converting into solid matter on a special type of camera. This is in physics.org. So in wave particle duality, they discovered that everything in the entire universe exists first as waves of light until a conscious observer interacts with it, and then it collapses.
I ain't gonna lie, he is telling y'all the truth on that one all the way. I had to stop it and give him his, you know, his kudos on that one. He telling, you know, the truth on that one, because if you think about what he's saying and think about what it say, you know, God, you know, say, you know, let there be light, you know, it say we are light beings, we're spiritual beings, and what he just said about a conscious, you know, manipulation, you know, God is, you know, consciousness. He is, you know, you know, just put it together, man.
This is hard to wrap your mind around, but imagine this. We're sitting here. Your house, it exists as a wave of potentials, not your house. It's a wave of light. Now, the construction technique of the stacking of those atoms that built your house has a specific resonant frequency, so no matter who looks at it, it always collapses into the same exact shape. But if nobody's looking, it's just a wave of potentials. Until you see it, when you bend the corner, it collapses back into a solid structure. This is now well-known, proven science due to the double slit experiment. If you look that up, you'll find out they took a microscopic box, they put a little gun inside that can shoot individual electrons through slits inside the box to hit the back wall. So the two slits here, and they want these particles to hit the back wall to see what was going to make a digital imprint on the back wall. Well, when they did this, when they looked, it was waves. So they said, wait a minute, how can there be a wave pattern on the back wall? We shot individual single electrons through the slits. There should be dot, 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 dot. I said, we got to look at this and see what's going on. So they put a camera in the box to see what was happening. When they looked, just looking, all of a sudden the electron said, oh, you're looking at me? Okay, I'm going to go back to being solid matter now. Dot, 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 dot. Took the camera away, waves. Put the camera back, dot, 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 dot. Oh, electrons are conscious. They are aware that they're being observed. And electrons orbit every atom in the universe, which means every atom is conscious. That means you think that you're sitting in a chair that's just made by man. We didn't make this chair. We stacked atoms. We stacked conscious atoms in a format that allowed us to sit on them. Everything is conscious. This chair is conscious. This suit is conscious. Everything is conscious because they're all made of atoms. And all we are ourselves are a stack of conscious atoms observing ourselves right now. You see? And so it gets really deep, man. I can go deeper and deeper, but it's pretty powerful stuff.
Keep going. Keep going.
So the benefit of knowing this, imagine teaching your kids that everything that exists is conscious. A rock, a blade of grass, your clothing, even your book bag is aware. It's conscious. Imagine teaching them how to respect conscious things, the level of respect they will have for their personal items, their bike, their clothing, their book bag, their schoolwork. Understanding and knowing that everything that they interact with, everything they touch or see has a level of consciousness imbued into it. Now you're training your kid to be a super conscious person that understands, like, treat everything that exists, no matter whether we think man made it or it's natural, with respect and dignity. That's the depth of understanding that people need to get to. And when we can get to that level of understanding, whew, wow.
So if we're all, I mean, in which we are, I do understand, if we're all stacked atoms, stacked conscious atoms, what holds us together?
Electromagnetic forces. That's what holds us together. You don't touch anything. So I may look like I'm touching this chair right now, right? I'm not actually touching the chair. You actually never touch anything. The repulsion of the electromagnetic frequency orbiting the electrons and atoms in my hand are repelling the ones inside the chair, creating a repulsive force, not allowing my hand to pass through the chair, because honestly, atoms are 99.999% empty space. And so what that means is atoms are mostly empty. There's nothing there. The only thing we have is these electromagnetic fields that give us the illusion of separation and solidity. And so if I can obtain the atomic frequency of the vibration of the atoms in this chair and make my hand match that frequency, I would pass my hand right through the chair like it didn't even exist. So there's probably people, beings, maybe on other planets or maybe even here now, that have learned this technique. We're going to match the frequency of this wall and just walk right through. Imagine the military puts on a special suit that can match the frequency of a solid concrete wall and walk right through the wall. It's going to look like magic. Exactly. It's just technology. You see, they understand how to match frequencies. If I took all 8 billion people on Earth and took away the empty space in their atoms, I can fit every human being into one sugar cube. There's nothing here. We're not even here. That's how it's really our higher selves. See, our consciousness doesn't exist. It's not created by the brain, I should say. It exists, but it's not created by the brain. It exists in a higher dimension. It's here in the third dimension now because it's inhabiting this avatar body, but it's coming in on a screen, on a beam of light, on an invisible beam. We're inhabiting this avatar body. If you understand that your body doesn't create the consciousness, it downloads it. And what downloads it into your body? You have your neurocorrelates of consciousness, which are 3 giant neurons that wrap around the inside of the skull like a giant crown of thorns. Sound familiar? Everyone walks around with a crown of thorns in their head right now. And then you have your neocortex.
What he's saying that is your spirit. You know, he keeps saying, you know, the consciousness, that's your spirit. That's another word for your spirit.
X in the front, which is for spatial and higher reasoning. And then you have your magnetite crystals. And so those 3 things together harness and hold in the frequency that is you, that is saying, you know, this is who I am. And it allows you to inhabit temporally, this avatar body until this avatar body gives out and ceases to operate and exist because of entropy, and releases that spirit energy back into the source, where it will then be recycled once again somewhere else. And so this the understanding of this is just so powerful, because you got to understand that you are already eternal. We're already eternal beings. We're when you talk to yourself, you're talking to your higher self from a higher dimension. You're speaking to yourself in another realm. We are all supernatural, eternal beings. A lot of people are trying to fight to become eternal, but we already are eternal. We've already been here for eons and eons. There could be people that you know that look like kids that are ancient. And there also can be people that are older people that are newborn babies spiritually. Could be their first time arriving here in this energy format.
You're talking about old souls.
Old souls, right. Exactly.
Dang,
old souls.
crazy.
There could be a kid that could be ancient, could be eons old. And there could be a lady that could be 70, that could be brand new. First cycle here. First time operating in this energy, in this spiritual energy, in this dimension. So it's a lot to grasp. I know I threw a lot at you at once, but it's such a huge story. I think it's really amazing. For me, it makes me feel more incredible. I feel like I'm part of something super massive and big. I don't think it makes me feel small at all. I feel like because everything is connected, that everything is me and everything is you. If I'm talking to you, I'm really talking to myself. There's only one consciousness that exists.
Well, that was actually a question I wanted to ask you. Do you think that we share consciousness?
Absolutely.
Well, then, if we share consciousness, why is there good and evil?
Hey, man. What they say, duality is a MF. That's a good cliffhanger, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that clip down below in the comment section. That was definitely something to make your mind wonder. A lot of people out there ain't gonna understand that, but man, you're gonna have to do some deep diving and researching into that topic, man, because it's definitely something you wanna get into, because it's very, very interesting. I must say, I was into it about 10 years ago. Quantum entanglement, quantum physics, quantum jumping, quantum leaping, same thing. A lot of that is crazy, but it's real.
This right here is so mind-blowing to me.
Imagine, if you will, that over here on your left is an atom. Imagine that over here on your right is yet another atom. In each of these atoms, we find a nucleus of protons and neutrons and a surrounding cloud of electrons. These are normal garden variety atoms. But they're each doing their own thing. They're pulsing and moving at a rate that's all their own. In other words, these two totally normal atoms are two totally separate things. But for a long time, there was this theory that hinted at another possibility, the possibility that maybe these two separate things might not always be so separate. But it was just a crazy theory, pretty hard to prove. That is, until lasers got involved. Scientists tried shooting lasers at each of these atoms, and the lasers caused these atoms to spin faster and faster and faster until finally, they each emitted a photon. And scientists found that when these photons collided in just the right way, something incredible would happen. The two atoms would become exactly alike. Two separate things had become the same thing, intrinsically connected somehow. Any measurement taken in one atom was sure to be exactly the same in the other. Any change in one was instantaneously matched in the other. Scientists discovered that they could pass their hands between these atoms at opposite ends of the room, just creating some interference, and the phenomenon remained. The atoms could be in separate rooms, divided by walls. Same thing. Scientists have even separated particles by more than 85 miles, and it still holds true. And the theory goes that in the natural world, this probably happens all the time. So right now, there may be particles in me that are one and the same with particles in you. This idea that two objects in different places can still be the same object is called quantum entanglement. But it also reminds me of something else. Something that frankly is way more complicated, but it goes by a simpler name: love. Love has some striking similarities with quantum entanglement. When two very separate things get worked up enough to send out a spark of some kind, and that spark collides in just the right way, well, two become one and all that. But I'm not just talking about that romantic kind of love. You see, I have a crazy theory, and it's pretty hard to prove. But I wonder if love can unite us. I wonder if love can take two unlike things that might be pretty different due to politics, or race, or income, or experience, or opinion and make those things somehow one. And then I wonder if that connection can persist through some interference. I wonder if it can pass through dividing walls. I wonder if it can cross impossible distances. You and me, entangled together, bonded, united. Now that's a theory that I'd like to experiment with.
And over all these virtues, put on love, which is the bond of perfect unity.
Man, they say love trumps all, man. But sometimes that just ain't the case. But hey, man, you can't never give up, man. Y'all gotta keep fighting for what you believe in, man. For real. But that's something serious right there. And another way they would say to get to, where you trying to get to, like in the last clip, think about it. Mind, body, and soul. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Think about it, y'all. Put it together. Let's go.
Consciousness, this faculty of being sentient, awake, is not limited to our brain waves or our bodies, but in fact transcends the limits of space-time. It's an unbounded field of awareness. And that is true whether you recognize it or not. Interestingly, it doesn't matter if you intellectualize it. That is the reality of it that has been proven through scientific studies, such as Dr. John's work at Princeton, where they would have people put their awareness on a random number generator that's spitting out zeros and ones randomly, and would intend to shift it, say, towards zeros, and it would shift without any linear wires, just their thought.
Essentially what a random number generator does is it looks at something intrinsically random in the physical world, typically a quantum process, and it converts those into a string of ones and zeros. So you can think of it kind of like a coin flipper where heads is 1 and tails is 0. Now if you collect a large enough sample size, you find a 50-50 distribution of these ones and zeros, meaning physical reality is behaving the way it should. Well, if you get somebody in front of the machine and you ask them to use their intention to mean shift the thing to more ones or more zeros, what you find is that there's, not all the time, but often a significant mean shift in the direction of their intention. Now that's a very simple experiment, but the implications are absolutely profound. Consciousness does not seem to be just an illusion or just a localized phenomena, but that it does have some sort of capabilities to affect the probabilities at the deepest layer of reality, down in the basement layer of the quantum world somehow.
The best way to understand non-locality is to understand that in both physics and in consciousness, there is a connection that exists amongst all things, from photons to people to awareness, that isn't limited by space and time per se, that are woven within each other. Dr. Emoto, the Japanese scientist, began to experiment with water and people putting their intent on the water. And he did photography that would show these different crystalline structures. If it was a very negative emotion, the crystals would be all dissonant. But when it was highly ordered conscious or love, the structures were these beautiful ordered structures that he would photograph. And this was repeated by other scientists. Water has a crystalline component, but it's also tied into, like all matter and space and time in the universe, to this consciousness force field. If you enter into just a quiet state of consciousness and intend something very positive, it literally altered the structure of the water itself.
There was an unpublished experiment that we did at the Pear Lab, which we called Plant RNG. You have a room with no windows, and you have a house plant that needs light to grow. You have a single growing light up on the roof. The growing light can turn in one of 4 quadrants, and which quadrant that light is showing is controlled by a random number generator. So you put the plant in one corner of the room. The light has an equal chance of shining in all 4 quadrants. But you give it enough time, and what you find is the light actually shines far more often on the plant than on the other coordinates. It's as though life itself, even life or consciousness in something as simple as a houseplant, bends probabilities in the physical world in the direction of what it needs, in the direction of its growth and its evolution. I see that experiment as profound because it shows to me what consciousness does in the world.
Boy, that's something to think about. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that one in the comment section down below. Y'all, if y'all made this far, y'all really pay attention to this one. Cause they go over y'all head. I know y'all seen it. Say the dark red black sun, the dark black sun. Yeah, okay.